morning everybody, welcome to Meet Another Week this week. I hope you had a great opportunity to look at meal planning, meal prepping, and when we looked at where we were spending our calories as a whole over the day, did you find out if you were spending more on breakfast, more on your lunch or your evening meal? I also asked you to admit the amount of calories that you'd like, calories that you spend in snacks, and delegate how many calories you're prepared to spend on your snacks in a day by putting it in a bag or a Chinese container and writing the day on and the calories that those snacks contain, okay? So by taking those snacks out of the daily budget, you can then see how much you've got to spend on your 3 meals a day. So I really hope that little tip helped you last week. But as we go on and we talk about calories, okay, calories is an intake, a measurement of unit value in food and drink. And very often we do get tripped up with the amount of calories that we don't consider in liquid calories, okay? So when we are following a healthy eating plan and we're wanting to lose weight, you know, the calorie intake that we have, the activity levels and the behaviours that we do all determine our results at the end of the week, you know, for our gains and our losses. So this week I really want you to evaluate your liquid calorie intake, and if you're not meeting your current health goals, could you actually be unknowingly consuming more calories than you realise through liquid? So liquid calories are very often easier and quicker to consume without realising it, okay? They'll satisfy your thirst, sometimes very quickly, okay? But they're considered hidden calories because the body does not feel the same fullness as when you drink as when it comes from food. You know that when you make your soup, that you will feel that fullness because it's volume, but that is coming from the dense energy food that you consume. But we're talking about liquid calories now and empty calories and how they can soon trip us up, okay? So how many of us have maybe orange juice with our breakfast every morning? An 8-ounce glass of orange juice is going to come in around 112 calories for about 16 ounces will have about 124 calories. Now if we're not measuring it out and we're not sure how much we're drinking, can you see how quickly that volume can double and we could be drinking more than what we realise because we take our standard glass every day and we top it up. But do we actually know how much volume that glass actually holds, okay? So is it time to get a tool out to support you, like your measuring jug, or buy an individual bottle of orange juice so you can see how many fluid ounces exactly on the side, so you know how much you're consuming. So if you thought you were drinking 8 ounces every day and that coming at 112, and realistically you were drinking 116 at 124, can you see by the end of the week you could be consuming over 500 calories more than what you expected? When an actual orange, if you ate the whole fruit, okay, only comes in at 36 calories. So by eating the whole fruit, it's much better for you as well, okay, because it has fibre and the other nutrients that act, that chewing process. When we chew the food, it's making us feel fuller because it's slowing us down and it's making our brain realise we've got food. So as we're chewing, our saliva is breaking down the food and it's going to keep us fuller. So to support your goal, maybe you could swap your orange juice for water. You know, instead of fizzy fruit juices or specialty coffees that can be laden with actual hidden calories. Can you say then, save your liquid calories for a special occasion? Because I know how many of us might like a little tipple on the weekend, okay? So if you swap something that was laden in calories and you banked it till the end of the week, maybe that you could really sit down and enjoy that tipple of alcohol, because we know alcohol has empty calories and it has a lot of calories, okay? So if you're drinking fruit juices every day, how many could you actually save by switching to water? Water is really going to be helpful. What's interesting is that every 8-ounce glass of water burns up to 12 calories in your body. Okay, drinking 2 litres of water a day could burn off almost 100 calories, because it really does help transport the fat cells and break them down to the area of the body. So is it time to rethink your drink and help you get closer to your goals? Things like coconut water is a fad, a great fad, newest fad at the moment, but it can contain as much as 45 calories in a small carton, and it's full of electrolytes like sodium, potassium. So coconut water can still speed up exercise recovery, but if you're sitting at a desk all day, then try to stick to water, because the coconut water will have calories where the water will not, okay? So when we talk about liquid calories, there's so many different types of milk available. Are we actually measuring our milk? What type of milk are we having, okay? Because today, you know, if you're having a splash and a dash here and you don't realise how much you're consuming during the day, and you're not you know, when you're not taking that in moderation, or you're not accounting for it correctly, okay, your milk intake can soon really add up. It's surprising how much these splashes and dashes of milk into hot drinks can soon add up through the day if you're not watching that intake, okay? So have you gone to Costa's or anywhere like that, and you can really see how many calories are in these specialised coffees, so they can rack up. So if you're having a coffee every day and you're not thinking about the milk content, you're just thinking, oh, I'm having a coffee, is it time now to think about what you could do? Or just say, do you know what, I'm gonna, if you have 5 coffees a day, next week aim to have 4 and then 3, and try to cut it down. It doesn't mean that you can't have it, but when we're having things that are not helpful to our weight loss all the time, and we're not monitoring them, or we're not taking on board and factoring in our budget, that's when the surprise of not seeing the scale budging can come into play, okay? So rethink your drink a little bit and tweak it where and when you can, okay? So swapping your alcohol to the weekends rather than midweek drinking during the week. Think about just having it on the weekend. That can save you so many empty calories when there's no nutritional value to what you're consuming, okay? So how many calories are you spending on alcohol in the week? Don't forget as well, you know, if we're not using our measure, it can soon add up. I was thinking, God, why am I getting so drunk on a double? Actually, when I did take charge and buy myself a measure, actually, no wonder I was having 2 gins. And I wasn't having 2 gins, I was actually having 6, because home measure is always a lot more than a pub measure. When we're drinking things like wine as well, you know, we can this is champagne, I can have no wine in my fridge. But you know, when we're drinking things like wine, we can be looking up to 600 calories a bottle. And if you're at that friend's house and you're trying to monitor your drink, but he or she keeps topping up your glass before it's empty, how aware of the quantity are you actually drinking? So make sure that you have a trained eye on what you know. What I haven't measured this out, what it is, 125 or 175. But imagine this was wine and you were drinking this and she kept topping it up all the time. You'd have no recollection of actually how much you did drink. So when it comes to weigh day and checking in, you'd be like thinking, did I have 1 bottle? Did I have 2 bottles? And then you're not absolutely sure to track the correct information that you need to be putting on your tracker, okay? A great tip is always ask for a flute, because if you're trying to limit the amount of alcohol you're having, when you use a flute rather than a glass, you can see you drink less. So if you had there, look, you could be drinking 2 of those to 1 of those. So it's surprising how using that, you've still got a drink in your hand, you're still enjoying the evening, and you're still loving life. but it does help you slow the drinking down. It does help you lessen the calories that you're having, and that's just a little trick I've used, you know, when I've gone to parties or something and I don't want to drink a lot, because I don't know about you, I'm getting a lot older now. Sorry, I've spilled some water here now. I'm getting a lot older, and I'm at that age now where I'm thinking, do I really want alcohol to spoil my day the next day, because I've got so much to do? So I don't like the after effects of alcohol. Doesn't mean that you don't, but that is a really good way to slow it down, okay, and really get that alcohol calorie intake down, because I do have empty calories. Fill it up with sparkling water, don't forget that, so you can half and half, so you can lessen it again, okay? Don't forget things like fats and spreads, you know, once melted, that is also a liquid. We often underestimate them, and when we only have a slice of bread, 9 times out of 10 we believe we're having less than what we're having, okay? So if I actually measured you out now, let me get a knife, I should be more prepared. Where's my scale? Oh, they're always in. Oh, there they are, hiding under the racks. Okay, so if I actually now weigh you out, 2 minutes, I'll be back. Should have been prepared, should have been prepared. And I haven't even got any bread defrosted, so we'll have to do with the crummy crust. Where's the bread's defrosted on the side? So I've got my scales here. I'm going to now weigh out 10, okay? So it's about that. Would you put that on you? So that is actually, oh, it's not too bad actually, 11. So there we are, 9, 10, 11. So that's, there we are, 10. Spot on there, okay? Now most of us think that we would have that, so that's quite generous on there. Are you actually, and there's that much left, would that go on 2? Are you actually measuring your spread out correctly? Are you heavy-handed? Are you putting it on crumpets? Is it melting away? Are you weighing and measuring it, okay? So that is actually 10 grams of spread there. So think about liquid calories. When we're using oil, we can soon mount up to hundreds of calories during the week if we're not actually using a teaspoon to measure it out. If we're just gulping it in, that 100 calories can rack up really, really quickly, okay? So when we're using oils, try to use a measuring spoon, get a teaspoon, or if you can actually get like a spray oil. I've got a couple of spray oils in here. This is a really good one I use, the extra virgin olive oil one, a spray, so it's limited. I know a couple of pumps of this isn't going to cost me a great amount. And then we've got the sunflower oil one as well. I've got the, I got the juicing lot in here, I tell you. And I've got a fry light spray if I really want to go lower. But to me, I prefer using the olive oil spray if I can, okay? So think about the liquids that you could be consuming. Are you splashing or are you dashing? Are you really being honest with the amount of oil, milk, alcohol that we're drinking, okay? Because we can really underestimate it unknowingly sometimes, okay? So when we underestimate them, we can rack up those calories a lot. If we made a fried egg or chips, our evening meal, with that oil, are you counting them in, okay? Sometimes I make eggy bread for them, you know, and I'll have a piece and I think, oh shit, I've forgotten to weigh the oil out, you know, because we've made eggy bread, I've put the oil in the pan, I'm frying it off, but that absorbs a lot, you know, without realising it sometimes. A tablespoon of oil can be up to 124 calories. If you're freeballing it, you know, it really could be double. So that squirter sauce sometimes we're having, okay? That salad dressing, just that sauce that goes with any meal, does it count? Are you counting it? So are you adding little amounts of liquid calories and they're all adding up unknowingly during the week? Could you address that intake this week and take the rest? And can you think of one area that those liquid calories could be tripping you up, because liquid calories are often not thought as food, but everything that we eat and drink really does count, okay? So next week, what are you struggling with? And let's get a solution to help you overcome what's getting in your way to your health goal. Sometimes it always doesn't reflect in the scales. They're called non-scale victories. Let's check out your non-scale victories next week. Have a great week, everybody. Goodbye.